Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Travis with Game Show Studio on Etsy, and coming to you with another YouTube live tutorial. This time for the $25,000 pyramid. Before I get started with the new tutorial, I want to thank everyone for supporting the shop in the last 2 years. It's definitely meant a lot to me. December was really, really good in terms of sale numbers. So good, in fact, that the sale prices that I had in effect for December are now permanent across the store. So, for instance, Price is Right is now $49.99. Pyramid, as we're about to go, $24.99. Those prices are permanent. I'm not going to drop them any further. Sales may come up here and there. Anybody that has the 10% off thank you coupons, please use them. They're going to make a bit of difference. And then if you have any of my bug finder coupons, please use them. Those are worth 50% off. And those are if you find a bug in my software and let me know, and if you're the first one to find it, and I fix it, I'll be happy to send everyone that has the software an update. And as the first one who's brought it up, you will get the 50% credit. That being said, Pyramid has been experiencing a lot of sales in my shop recently. It's actually one of my top 5. And it's a little bit hard to get into. I can understand that. So we're going to go through a little step-by-step tutorial as I did with Family Feud a few weeks ago, and show you guys how to use it. So again, thanks for stopping in. I've got chat open. Please give me any questions you've got during the proceedings. I'll be happy to answer them as I go. All right, let's get started. So in my window, as you can see here, this is basically what you're going to get when you download the program. You'll have a folder for games. That is where all your game files that you create are going to go. Sound effects, which only includes one file, and that file is the 60-second clock. Instead of a tick every second on the clock, I found a 60-second track that will run, the full length of the winner circle clock. The front game clock has no sound effects because you're talking over it. You also have the control panel operations guide, the full instruction manual. The rules Bible tells you how to play. And then for Windows users, you'll have 3 executable files. I've recently updated icons, so my icons may look different than yours. The builder, the control panel, and the game screen. Mac users will see the 3 SWF files. Identical to the EXEs, they will run the same thing. It's just those are Mac compatible. And then the notepad file for the production slate, where you can, at the front of the software, you can change, whatever the air date is, your tape date, your episode number, so that way you can make your show look like an actual production. So let us get into how to build a game. So that's going to be the first step. What you would need to do is you would need to open the Pyramid Builder, which I have already done, and the Pyramid Builder will look like this. On this screen, and all the instructions are on each screen of the builder, so you can sort of do this as you go along, but we'll step through it real quick. For the front game, this is the front game screen, so you've got the main 6 categories. The orange bar will be where you will enter what the Mystery 7 prize will be. Your tiebreakers, tiebreaker 1 and tiebreaker 2, those are your initials. So every tiebreaker for the front game of Pyramid is words that start with the letter J, words that start with the letter Y. So you put in those boxes only that one letter. Where it says 7-11 and Mystery 7, those are looking for the position of where your Mystery 7 or your 7-11 is going to go. And the coordinates, the top box is number 1, the middle row is boxes 2 and 3, left to right. The bottom row is boxes 4, 5, 6, left to right. The way I've set this up is you can actually tab through each of the boxes. You don't have to click in them. You can just start hitting tab. It will hit every one in sequence. And I've now adjusted it to where the text can be any width. Like, I can just start typing along one line. As you can see, the text is sort of accordioning based on the width of how many characters I put in. But I don't like to have that whole big line, so I'm just going to do subject 1 goes here, subject 2, subject 3, subject 4 in this box, subject 5 lives down here. 6 doesn't get its... Nope. No apostrophe in that it's. Trust me, I know grammar. And it's doesn't get its numeral. Okay. The next one I'll go to are the tiebreaker letters, so let's just put in, for lack of a better term, A and Z. Now, normal rules is you either want a 7-Eleven or a Mystery 7 in your game. You don't want both. If you want to, throw the rules out the window. You can have one of each. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put the 7-Eleven in subject 4, and I'm going to put the Mystery 7 in subject 6, and then the Mystery 7 prize is going to be a prize of some sort. So once all that is filled out, you're going to click Set Subjects. Those are now locked in, and now you're going to fill out the 7 answers for each subject. I'm not going to go through all that here because it's just 7 blanks. And then once you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like that, and then you click Set Answers, and then if you want to go back, you can step back for review. Okay, those are my 7 answers in subject 1. Subject 2 gets its own, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then your tiebreakers for A, your tiebreakers for Z. Now you get your code sample. Now this is virtually identical to all the rest of my software. It will generate this code sample. You're going to click into the box, hit Control A on your keyboard to select it all. Control C copies it. And then open up a blank notepad file. For Mac users, it is TextEdit. And then also for Mac users, you will want to set it to plain text format. I believe TextEdit starts at rich text. It will not read a .rtf file. It needs to read a .txt. So if you're using a Mac and you're using TextEdit, you do have to change it to a make plain text. I believe that's in the Edit or Preferences menu in the top bar. But for Windows users, you're going to open Notepad and then Control V, pastes everything in. Your game is set. Well, your game is in the Notepad file. It's not set yet. So in order to set it, you have to Control S to save. And then you've got to put it in a place. And that place is in the Games folder. And you would name it. Now your front game will just be the word game and then whatever number you want it to be. So in this case, let's call it Game 1. You can do whatever you want after the word game. Doesn't really matter. But whatever you put after the word game is going to be the game number that the control panel will look for. And we'll get to that in a second. So your front game is now saved. And now you can start to build a winner circle. Same as before, 6 subject boxes. Width will change. You want to max out your text at 3 lines. It will not squeeze beyond that. You can make the text as wide as you want, but you're maxed out at 3 lines. And then you can also tab through these boxes as well, and it will start with the $50 box in the bottom left corner. So we'll go things that breathe. What a let's go pizza toppings. Let's see, this would be why you pay bills, because you want to keep your lights turned on. Let's see, why you pay bills. Things that are green, and then things that protrude. Yeah, the 6 box is always very, very tricky. So once your 6 subjects are set, again, compile code. You see them all there, and the same process. Control A, Control C to copy. Into your notepad file, you'll want to create a new one, paste it in, save it, and then this will get saved as WC and then the game number. So in this case, it'd be Game 1. In your download file, you'll always receive a Game 0 and a WC 0. That is a sample game. For Pyramid, it is playable with the caveat that I don't give you what the thread of the subjects is in the front game. I can give you the categories and I can give you the 7 answers, but I do not give you what the thread of those is, like what the category means. Pretty easy to divine based on what the category is, and then if you look at the 7 answers, you can kind of figure it out from there. But unfortunately, I do not provide that. As well as an interesting little addition. Let me go back to my folder and show you here. In the games folder, and I haven't fixed this recently, there's a folder that says archive. This is 13 also playable games that I basically forgot about. I also haven't touched them in about 6, 7 years. They may work, they may not. I'm going to say they probably do. It's just a case, I don't know what they are. I know they're from our old charity shows. So feel free to use them. I don't care. If you want to create your own, great. If you want to go into the archive, you're more than welcome to do that. So now that you've seen all that, you know how to use the builder, let's get into actually playing the game. So once you actually let me show you what to put up first. So I'll go back to my screen. So in order to run the game, you're going to need two programs running at the same time. You'll need the control panel and the game screen. Oh, I got a question in chat. I'm sorry. Can you use one per round of a Mystery 7 and a 7-Eleven per game? Big C, you absolutely can. As I also said, you can actually use one of each in each game if you want to completely break the rules. Or you can use, play it like the old 100,000 tournament and use neither. So you can use them. If you use neither the 7-Eleven or the Mystery 7, set them both at 0, so that way neither one will be revealed. If you do want to use them, it's 1 through 6, and then again, you can use them both in separate boxes in each game. Thank you for that question. All right, so in order to start the game, you will need to start two programs, the control panel and the game screen. Once you get those launched, you'll have to also connect to a secondary display. It's basically going to look something like this, where you'll have two screens open on, or two programs open on two separate screens. For Windows users, you'll connect your external display, set it to extended desktop, put your game screen on the extended desktop so that way your contestants and audience can see only the game screen, and you as the operator are only seeing the gray control panel screen because the operator sees all the answers. And trust me, you don't want that going out or else you have completely busted your entire game. So this is what your screen, or this is what your setup is going to look like once you get everything done. Your game screen is over here in the blue on the right-hand side. I wish I knew my right from my left. I don't. So on the right-hand side, the blue screen that's actually just down there right below me is going to be the game screen. That's what your audience is going to see. The control panel, which is just over here, the gray screen, is what you're going to be looking at as the operator. Now, on this control panel screen, if you've bought the software recently, you know what these look like. If you have an older copy, let's say before November of this year, I've added some things. If you do want an update, I'll be happy to give you one for free. Send me an email to gameshowmachine@gmail.com with your Etsy order number. I'll cross-reference it, make sure it is legit, and I'll send you a download of the updated software. So here's what the update looks like. So for your team names, I've allowed 2 lines, same text squeezing horizontally, but I've allowed for 2 lines so you can have 2 names on your blanks. So let's say episode I watched the other day was David Graff and Betty White, and then just to be a little classic about everything. And then a new addition in this one is the Corona jackpot value. This is the blue oval that sits at the top of the winner circle pyramid. I've now put it to where you can put whatever you want in that oval. It's going to default to $25,000 because this is the $25,000 pyramid. But you can literally put whatever you want in there. It has the horizontal text squeezing, so it can be any length, and it will blink accordingly as if it was just a light box on set. So we're just going to say Happy New Year. Very simple. And then game pack number, again, this is the number that exists after the word game or after WC in your text files. So we'll do the sample game. We'll put in game 0, basically because game 1's not complete. The winner circle is complete, but not the front game. So we'll do the sample pack game 0. Once you have all this entered, you're happy with it, click Set Info. On the game screen, under where it says Game Pack on the slate, you'll see a 0 pop in. That tells me that the programs are communicating, and the information should be transferred. So now you go to the title screen, and now you can actually start the show. So if you want to do it as an actual show and do an announcer intro, you can. 3 buttons here. One will start the music. I'm not going to hit that here because let's not play music over YouTube. And then, so we'll say that I did. We'll fly in the logo, brings it up from the bottom, and then fly it out, zooms it out, and then it changes the set to blue. So it basically acts as, what the actual show looked like. So it brings the logo up, flies it out, turns the lights on. So once that's all done, you'll go to front game. Now you're about ready to get into gameplay. So the first thing you want to do, you see the lights are still going along the pyramid and everything. You'll click Load Pyramid. That puts the subjects in. So it puts the subjects here on your control panel and on the game screen for your players to see. Operation here is pretty simplistic. What I recommend here from this for these 2 rounds and for this game in general is not only have an operator, but also have a separate game judge, meaning they're going to listen to correct answers, they're going to listen for passes, they're going to listen for illegal clues, so that way they can trigger either the points, the cuckoo, or the passing to go to the next word. In my own experience, it's a lot for one person to do, so it's easier to have an external judge. That external judge would need a controller or a keyboard, something that would generate 3 keystrokes: a plus for correct answer, a minus for illegal clue, or an asterisk for pass. And this question has been coming up a lot. In the front game of Pyramid, if a word is passed, they cannot come back to it, even if they run through all 7 and they've got 12 seconds left. They cannot come back to that word. The receiver can still guess the word and get credit for it, but once the word is passed, the giver can no longer give clues to that word that was passed. Very tricky rule back in the day, but that's unfortunately how I programmed it in. So in the front game, if it is passed, you cannot go back to it, but the receiver can still guess the word correctly for a point while the clock is running. After that 7th clue happens, if they don't get it, the clock will stop. They will not get credit for it. So they may get a 6 out of 7 just because of a pass and they couldn't solve it. Okay, so let's get into this. So first, what you want to do is activate which team is going first. So you'll click active in their box. Let's say David and Betty are going to go first. And then they'll select their subject. So let's go with he shoots, he scores. So it puts the pyramid block, the trilon block on the game screen. On the control panel, you'll see all 7 answers here. And then the way I program this is I'm going to follow Dick Clark's cadence in terms of what cues next. So once a category is selected, the trilon turns around. He would say what the common thread is. In this case, it is describe these sports scoring terms. 30 seconds on the clock. Ready? Click ready. That puts 30 seconds on the clock. It automatically sets the clock and arms the game to go. And then when we say go, the clock will start. The first word will populate. So let's do that. So on the game screen, the first word will come up. I will stop the clock temporarily so I can sort of walk through this a little bit. Once I click go, the clock starts. The first word will come up on the game screen, and it will be highlighted on the control panel in yellow. That tells you, the operator, what word is active on the game screen. It also, if the judge is sitting with you, that also tells the judge what word they're going for. So if they're managed to get it right, hit plus, scores it, and if a team is active, it automatically gives them the points. Now, if they pass, hit asterisk, it just bumps down the list. If they give an illegal clue, minus sign will sound the cuckoo, advance to the next one, and then let's give them the last one. And then once they solve the last one, just click clear, and that will basically end the game. I believe it also stops the clock, if I'm not mistaken. It will stop the clock. So once you get to the 7th answer, if they solve it, great. Click clear, it stops the clock. Stops the clock, clears the clock from the game screen. So David and Betty got 5 points. We'll activate the other team and basically bounce back and forth the same way. So in this block, a couple of things to keep an eye on. This will tell you where the Mystery 7 is. In this case, it is in by 8, out by 2. If you hit this button, that will flash what they've won. So if they clear the 7 in 30 seconds, hit Mystery 7 down here, it will flash on screen what the bonus prize was. In this case, it just says bonus. It's nothing fancy. Once the game is over and a winner has been determined, you'll click winners. It will flash winners, roll the lights on the pyramid, so basically like the end of the game. If the game ends in a tie, you'll click tiebreaker. It will zero out both scores, put up the 2 letters for the tiebreaker selection, and you'll be able to restart the game from a tiebreaker. Tiebreakers get a little tricky, so let me just set a tie score. Actually, setting a tie score doesn't really matter in this one to activate a tiebreaker. But just for shiggles, let me step through what a Mystery 7 is going to look like, since we have one in this game. So we'll hit in by 8, out by 2. So the bells go off, you see Mystery 7's revealed, but we want to close that off. So we'll set close Mystery 7, it will put it back to the Trilon, and then play the game as normal. And then if they do get the 7 out of 7, hitting Mystery 7 flashes what they won. It'll be the same thing for 7-Eleven. It'll flash the $1,100 on that bottom bar, and then to get it to stop flashing, just click clear. Resets it. But we're in a tie situation here, so we're going to go to a tiebreaker. Puts up the 2 letters, clears the scores out, and then remember, rules of the game is whoever created the tie goes first. So we'll keep Vicky and Charlie in control. They'll pick a letter, either J or Y, so we'll go with J on this one. It blacks that out. So same play as normal with one caveat. For the first team that plays, if they manage to get 7 out of 7 before the clock hits 0, you will want to stop and reset clock immediately. So that way it'll reset the clock for the other team. I'm going to try something. You and I are going to be on a journey, because I'm about to test something that I haven't tested before. So these are all words that start with the letter J. Ready? Go. It's kind of like jelly, it goes on a sandwich. Jam. Really hard candy, hurt your teeth. Jawbreaker. Yes. Santa Claus is jolly. Yes. Hanukkah is celebrated by this faith. Jewish. Yes. New Orleans music form. Jazz. Yes. A quick boxing hit. It's a jab. The city of Kingston is in this country. Jamaica. Yes. So that stops the clock. Hit clear. Stops the clock. Now we're going to stop and reset clock. Oh, it worked! So that's great. Once the, in the tiebreaker, once the first team plays, immediately click clear. That's going to stop the clock and clear the game, but it's going to leave your clock set at whatever they had left. Click stop and reset clock. It resets it to 30 minus what the other team had left. So in this case, David and Betty are going to have 25 seconds to get their 7 out of 7. Play resumes the same. I'll click Y. You'll see all 7 of those words. Oh, very odd. I had Jewish in one list and Yiddish in this one. These are old games. I don't know when they were written, so there may be material conflicts. Again, I don't guarantee that these games are playable. This one is to a degree. So let's go through this. Let's say they do manage to get the 7 out of 7. They've won the game. Now, 2 things you can do here. You can either click winners if there was not a 21-21 tie, or if there was a 21-21 tie, you would hit $5,000 winners. So that way, that flashes the correct thing on screen. The pyramid trilons and the lights were always scrolled depending on which winners button that you hit. But basically, if you know it was a 21-21 tie, somebody's going to get the $5,000 bonus. You want to click the right button to have the right win. Now, the winner's score will not flash. The winners will not be signified. The host will know. The host will announce because they're going to move. They're going to kiss off the other team, and they're going to move the other team into the winner's circle. So, let us move into the winner's circle. So once the winner's been decided, click winner's circle. It goes into that winner's circle screen. So it's basically like coming in on a break. The lights are scrolling on the screen. So what you want to do is click load pyramid first. Gives you all the answers on this side. It loads the pyramid behind the trilons on the game screen. And then you want to step through it basically like the show did. So you want to dim the lights, changes the set from blue to black, put 60 seconds on the clock, and this changes the corona. It saves whatever your input text is. It just puts the clock over it. And then you want to click here is your first subject, which throws this one open. Judging is the same in the winner circle as it is in the front game. There has been an update recently that anything that's passed will be immediately returned to once they clear all 6. Also, any correct answer will automatically bounce to the next one. So you don't need to like judge and then click and judge and then click. I figured out the solution about a week ago. So that engine is now in place to where the subjects will automatically advance based on correct or pass. If it's passed, it'll jump to the next one. If it's any judgment, will jump to the next one available in line. So let's give this a run, shall we? Here's your first subject. Go. And then that starts the clock. As you can hear, the clock is ticking. Plus, minus, divide, math functions, yes. I'm a soft, cuddly animal that's named after a president. What a teddy bear would say. Boardwalk, park, place, properties, monopoly, yes. Coffee, end, pass. So I'm going to hit asterisk. Lights up in blue, that means it's passed. Why you hiccup? Oop, gave that one. So that buzzed that one. Heavy cream, things you whip. Occasional, end, coffee, kinds of tables, yes. So in this case, I got one wrong. That created an illegal clue. So we'll do lights up, game loss, brings the lights back up to blue, and then I can re-reveal it. So that way, we can talk about it after. But in the case of I'll actually leave it, come back, and then dim, load, 60, here, go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to light them all up green, so that way you can see that the win is automatically triggered. So like that, and so once the 6th item is automatically guessed correctly, the win sequence hits. Pretty simple like that. So we'll go back to game info. And that's largely how to run Pyramid. Again, there have been some updates recently. If you have a version of the software that doesn't include any of this, again, please send me an email with your Etsy order number. I'll cross-reference it, and I will send you the update. Let me go back to just me. So a quick tutorial. It's not as heavily involved as the Family Feud one was, because no real way to play along with audience real time. Now, if there was somebody here in the room, yeah, I could play the game with someone here to demonstrate how the game is played. But it's just you and me, so kind of did it a little bit low tech. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate you stopping in, watching the tutorial. The Etsy shop is still open. Business has gone well. Again, thank you for everyone supporting me over the last 2 years. This is my 13th consecutive month as a star seller, according to Etsy. So positive reviews from everybody. If you have bought something and you want to leave me a review, or if you have left a review and you want to edit it, I would love to see photos. I don't see a lot of images associated with my reviews of people actually using the software, like at a game night or an event. Some recently. If you're permitted by anyone playing the game to take the picture, great, take it. I would love to see the photos attached to reviews. Again, thank you for all the positive reviews. Thanks for all the positive feedback. This whole thing has been like a passion project for me, and again, I really appreciate everybody coming on this ride with me. That's basically it for now. I'll be back in about a week or two with another live tutorial review. I think the next one on the dock is going to be a double review or double tutorial of Tic-Tac-Dough and the Joker's Wild, just because they're very similar. Granted, they were packaged together all through the 70s. So, again, thanks for stopping by, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for playing.